Now, verbs have tenses. What is a tense? Tense is time. A tense of the verb is simply the form of the verb that tells whether the action or situation has happened. Past tense, or it is happening, which is the present tense, or will happen, which is the future tense. Verbs are the timekeepers of sentences. Here's an example. John ate the hot dog. John ate the hot dog. When did John eat the hot dog? Well, you see, John ate it at some time in the past. The action is done. It is completed. It is in the past tense. The hot dog has gone down into John's belly. But I can say John is eating the hot dog. By saying is eating, I am telling you that John has not finished yet. You had better hurry if you want a piece of that hot dog. You still have time because John is eating it now, right now, in the present tense. Now I can also say John will eat the hot dog. By saying John will eat the hot dog, I am giving you a chance to get that hot dog before John starts eating it. John will eat it in the future. You can still get it before John does. Verbs have tenses, and tenses are time. We can say then that verbs are the what? They are the timekeepers of sentences. Verbs are the timekeepers of sentences. That's what a verb is. So you see, tense is time. Every verb expresses or tells at least 3 different times or tenses. 3 different times or tenses. These are called simple or basic tenses. Now here they are. The present tense. The action or situation being described is happening when? Now. Then you have the past tense. The action or situation being described has already happened. And finally, we can say that we have the future tense. The action or situation being described will happen. So you have the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. Look for the tense of the verb. It will help you to know whether the writer or speaker is talking about the past, present, or future. Writers or speakers sometimes have to change the way a verb ends to tell you whether they are talking about the past, present, or future. Now, please note that some verbs are called irregular. What are they called? Irregular. Because they don't follow the normal rules for changing their endings. I don't like the word irregular. It makes these verbs feel like outcasts. But notice that some of these irregular verbs are some of the most popular and important verbs. Let's take, for example, the verb to be. To be. You really have to be careful with this verb. Here is the verb in its present tense. We would say, not I be, but I am. You are. He, she, it is. We are. You are. They are. Now here's how it looks in the past tense. I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were. And of course, please don't say we was. I hear that in the media. It drives me crazy when athletes say we was. Or when even announcers on the radio say we was. Or you was. No, it's we were and you were and they were. Please don't say they was. And please don't say we was or you was or they was. No, it's I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, you were, they were. So let's review what we've learned. A verb is a word or group of words that shows what? Action. Helps to show when an action will take place, or connects a noun or pronoun to words that show its condition or situation. Bill ate the fish. Ate shows action. Bill is sick. Is links Bill to sick, which shows his condition. Bill is coming tomorrow. Is helps to show when the action coming will happen. So some verbs show action. They tell what a noun or pronoun is doing, was doing, has done, or will be doing. These are called action words. But remember, we talked about this, some verbs don't show action. Instead, they link or connect a noun or pronoun to words that show that noun or pronoun's situation or condition. Some of these types of verbs are called linking verbs, and others are called state of being verbs. Some verbs help other verbs to make sense. These are called helping verbs. Now, by the way, these helping verbs play a really important role. They tell us when the action in the sentence is taking place. Verbs are not only action words, they are helping words, they also are linking words. Verbs are amazing. We've also learned about subjects and predicates. We know that if you want to make a sentence, you must find a word that will play the part of the verb or simple predicate and the word that will play the part of the noun or the simple subject. Every sentence must have at least a verb and a noun or pronoun, which is a word that you know substitutes for the noun. If the sentence only has one noun, then that noun must be the subject or topic of the sentence. It must tell who or what the sentence is all about. If the sentence has only one verb, then that verb must either show an action or it must link the noun to a word that shows its condition or situation. The relationship between nouns and verbs or pronouns and verbs is the most important relationship in a sentence. You cannot even create a sentence until you establish a relationship between a noun and the verb or a pronoun and the verb. The noun-verb relationship is the first and most important relationship in sentences. To create a sentence, all you have to do is establish a relationship between a noun and the verb or a pronoun and the verb in a way that makes complete sense. What are the types of relationships between the noun and the verb? Nouns and verbs can have action relationships or linking relationships between them. What's the relationship between the noun or pronoun and the verb in any sentence? The verb is either showing the verb is either showing something that the noun is doing, or did, or will be doing, or the verb is connecting the noun with words that show its condition or situation. So verbs link, verbs connect, verbs show conditions or situation. Well, later on in your book, you can do exercise section for subjects and verbs, and we will post some of these on your site so that you can do some practice work, okay? But we can practice making some sentences with the famous to be verb. I am what? I am sleeping. He is what? He is eating. You are what? It is what? Hey, you can make your own sentences. In exercise 2, we have some great stories from Aesop's fables, and you're going to look for the verb in these stories. For example, an ant went to the bank. So my verb is went. Okay? Went is my verb, as you can see that. To quench its thirst. The bear and the fox. A bear boasted. That's another verb. The belly and its members. The members of the body rebelled. That's another verb. So look for verbs in these stories. A man who had traveled. See, that's another verb. Verbs are amazing. Long ago, the mice had a general council. They had a council. Another verb. And we're going to practice finding subjects and verbs in sentences, okay? So, here's an example. The teacher gave us teacher gave us a very difficult test. Now let's follow the instructions below to find the verb in any sentence. First, find the verb. To find the verb, let's look for words that show action. So you ask the question, where's the verb? And you look for the action word. Then, if there's no action word, I want you to look for the state of being verbs. These are verbs that come from the to be verb family, such as am, is, are, was, were, be, being, or been. Notice they're called being verbs, partly because they come from the to be family. Next, look for any word such as have, has, had, might, could, should, would, shall, may, might, must, or can. Shall is not in my song for helping verbs, but it's a helping verb. And if you still can't find the verb, then here's the key. Grab one or two pronouns, I, you, he, she, or they, and put them to stand next to any word in the sentence that may be a verb. And if the pronoun and the word next to it make sense together, then that word next to the pronoun is a verb. Verbs can't hide for long. Write the verb down, for example, in the space below. Here's a verb, gave. Next, find the noun that is going to be the subject or topic of the sentence. The subject is the main noun. It is who or what the other words have come together to talk about. To find the subject noun, simply go to the verb and ask the verb who or what. The answer to either of those questions is the subject. The subject is who or what is doing the action, or who or what is being described by the rest of the sentence. Example, who gave? The answer, the teacher. So if the teacher is my subject, he or she is the main noun or topic of my sentence. Next, I'm going to place the subject noun on the line below, right next to the verb. Subject noun, teacher, verb, gave. Wow, you have identified a subject-verb relationship. This is the most important step in creating a sentence. So if I go back all the way up here, now I can see the teacher gave us a very difficult test. And I know that my verb is gave. Who or what gave? Answer, teacher. That teacher gave. The teacher gave. That's my noun, my subject, and my verb relationship. So now, take a moment and we're going to practice finding subjects and verbs. And remember, you have these great sentences here, and look for your subjects and your verbs in these sentences. Then take a moment and summarize what you've learned from this section.